Picture a bucket of broken crayons. I want you to imagine that. Broken crayons that can't be used. Our first instinct is what? To toss them out. They're trash. Let's get some more. I don't know if you have children, but I do. If you have grandchildren, the one thing that really gets to me is if I go into my children's room and I see broken crayons, I'm just ready to throw it away. Look, we have to start it all over. There is nothing that we can do with them. But I tell you, I've been wrong all along. You may have been wrong all along. Broken crayons still color. Yes, they do. And they create masterpieces. Today, I am going to talk to you about being broken, but not broke. Broken, but not broke. My name is Charcora Palmer. I am the founder and the CEO of Total Power Financial Solutions. I am an author, an Amazon best-selling author, and I am also a speaker. But most of all, I've been in that place. I've been in that place where I have been broken, and I didn't just wake up one day and accomplish the things that I have aforementioned. It took me going through. It took some tears. It took some trying times. Now, I want you to think about someone that maybe you idolize in your mind, maybe your favorite singer, an artist, a rapper, whoever. For me, my favorite is Charlie Wilson. I just got to give it to you. I love Charlie Wilson. I love his music. I love his inspiration. But what motivates me the most about him is his story. He has a story of brokenness, but he overcame. From addiction to homelessness to being at the top to being knocked down to the bottom and bouncing back up again. Charlie Wilson succeeded. I want to go through just a few more people just to get in your mind, because we look up to them and you may not even know anything about their stories. Number one, Oprah Winfrey. Man, you know, Oprah has made it to the top, and she is very motivating and inspiring. She's built schools across the country, over in Africa. But Oprah went through too. Oprah, she grew up with her grandmother. She lived a lot of different places. And even when she embraced the industry, she entered the industry into radio and talk show, she wasn't very widely accepted in the industry. Number one, because she was a woman of color. And number two, you know, it's a predominantly male industry. But even before that, in her childhood, she was a victim of molestation, okay? But she still overcame. She still overcame. Another person that we look up to, Lisa Nichols, and I love her. She is a motivational speaker. One thing that sticks out to me about Lisa, she tells a story that one day she looked her child in the eye. She was going through, she was really broke. She wanted to make it but didn't know how. One day she looked her child in the eye after not being able to put Pampers on her baby or give her baby milk. And she said to him, "I'll never be this broke again a day in my life." Now, we've looked at them. Let's look at yourselves. What are your broken pieces? And what masterpieces can you create from that brokenness? For me, myself, I can go back as far as my childhood, having my innocence taken at the precious age of 11. Even growing up in a single-parent home, that wasn't so pretty. Even my parents facing divorce right before I reached my adulthood. There are many stories that I could say that can go on and on and on, having my family snatched away from me one by one, back to back. Listen, if I can make it through, you can make it through. You see, your brokenness Your brokenness happens to push you into your destiny. Your brokenness happens so that you can be that testimony for someone else. Your brokenness happens not for you to stay there, not for you to get used to it, not for you to, enjoy it and say that it feels good, but it's not all for you. That's one thing I had to come to grips with. Back in 2016, I graduated with my master's degree. As a new divorcee, a single parent, I was working full time, and at that time I also had an event planning business. I graduated, we all going to school because we want to do better, we want to earn more money, we want to do it the way that society says do it. We follow the blueprints. Well, my harsh reality came that even today, after earning that master's degree, all I had left was the student loans, as far as it related to being accepted into corporate America. And yes, I took it hard at first. Yes, I felt some type of way about it after all the sacrifices, but then I was reminded that even in that broken place, the journey that I had paved out and that others had paid out for me wasn't to be my journey. From that, I birthed my entrepreneurship. From that, my business, which was designed to push others to other levels and to recognize their greatness. Yes, ultimately move them to the money, but we got to get past the brokenness before we even attack that. So today, as we have examined everyone else, I've told you a little bit about me, and you've taken an examination of yourselves. Let's talk about the three things that you need to get to that next level and to get past the brokenness so that you aren't broke. Number one, realize that anybody that you're idolizing, the only thing that separates you from them is their willingness to work. Their willingness to take a leap. Their willingness to count all the odds out and to press forward on their mission. Number two, believe in yourselves. I know that sometimes life can beat you down. I know that sometimes we face things in which we think we can't overcome them and you want to just throw in the towel. Yes, it gets rough, but know that you are worth the journey. You haven't made it this far for you to be left to naught. Number three, and this one, if you keep this in mind, it will change your life. Know that your brokenness is not for you, it's for somebody else. It's for someone else. If you can encourage someone on the journey, and let me interject, there are going to be times where you're going to have to encourage somebody even when you're going through. It's not when you get to the other side, and that's where your strength comes. Even when you're going through and you'll begin to minister and to build yourself up. I've had many days like that. Like I'm encouraging you when I'm going through. I remember when I was going through a divorce, and thank God that's the past, and hey, all things are new. But I was encouraging people, and I had my wedding event planning business during that time. And the bulk of my business was what? Weddings. So I'm getting everybody else married, and I was going through. That hurts. Like, I can't even keep my own stuff together, but woo, here comes the bride. We just gonna go with it. But my strength came, and it tested me in areas that I didn't know that I could even survive. So today, the three things I want you to keep in mind. Number one, the only thing that separates you from anybody else is the willingness to work. Work for it. You don't have to stay in your broken place. Two, believe that you're worth it. And number three, just keep on pushing. My name is Charcora Palmer. I can be reached at charcorapalmer.com, Total Power Financial Solutions, on any of the platforms, and I thank you for your time.